Welcome to the Dream Life is Real Life podcast. I'm your host, Hannah Hermanson. I know it might seem cheesy or cliche, but if you've got a sleeping giant inside of you, or you just feel like you're made for more, then there's no coincidence you landed here on the Dream Life is Real Life podcast. Listen, as a girl from small town Wisconsin who decided to go all in to her dream life vision, I know how crazy it can feel to chase after wild ideas. Since leaving my 9-to-5 job in academics back in 2015 to becoming a yoga teacher, a life coach, and now a digital nomad, currently living in Merida, Mexico with my husband and Labradoodle, I know that all the cheesy cliches are true. I've watched a lot of my dream life become my real life right in front of my eyes. Oh, and I've learned a whole lot about sales, business, and marketing along the way, and I want to share all of that with you. So here, you can consider me your friend and mentor. As a certified business coach, success trainer, international speaker, author, and copywriter, I've helped hundreds of coaches and entrepreneurs build, scale, and enjoy their online businesses. So here on the show, you'll find the real people, concrete tactics, and weekly motivation and inspiration to make your dream life your real life. I'm going to let you into the nooks and crannies of these dream lives and dream businesses and offer lots of real talk along the way. Because to be a true leader in whatever you're endeavoring in your life and to create a legacy that you're proud of, you need a tribe lifting you up with you on the journey. And I've made it my mission to be that partner with you. Because after all, we are all in this together. By the way, if you'd like some help improving your business and life, then we just might be able to help. Head on over to dreamlifeisreallife.com to learn more about what we do and how I might be able to personally support you and just continue this conversation in making your dream life your real life. All right, let's get to it. Okay, I say this every time, but I am so excited for today's guest. Like truly, listeners, you get to hang out with some of my local friends here in Merida, Mexico. We get to hang out with friends, founders, digital nomads here with us, Kamil and Cherelle. They are best friends turned business partners who created the L.O.V.E Youth in 2015 with a desire to provide relevant and engaging content to aid students' maturation and success in ways that challenge the rigidness often found within the academic world. Since their inception, they facilitated their workshops to students from all over the country, including signature offerings titled Future on Fleck, where participants deepen their awareness of social emotional learning, SEL, components, and building community through self-love. Their participants are invited to imagine what the world looks like when they actually love themselves on an authentic level. From there, it wasn't long before the dynamic duo acknowledged that what they offered was not only beneficial to youth, but also those who considered themselves young at heart, despite their age. So they've inspired this core concept of harnessing the L.O.V.E that lives within. And now Kamil and Cherelle have realigned their intentions to be creating wellness content for culture, for those of us that are making our dream lives our real lives. Because one of their main objectives is destigmatizing the idea that wellness is only reserved for the few. And they're reclaiming the truth that it's in fact for all of us, despite, any ethnicity, race, gender, or cultural differences. Simply put, they're amazing. And they're two homegirls encouraging you to heal, be well, and tap into your youthful spirit and intention. And they're also neighbors. We all live in Merida, Mexico. So welcome to the virtual show, girls.
Thank you for having us.
You got it.
We just had a kind of
little light flicker.
So hopefully
your energy, you guys are just like beaming in. Wow. There's a lot of good vibes going on here. I saw it too.
We'll take that. Oh my
That's real. It's all energy, right? So
absolutely.
It's been so good getting to know you here in Merida, and folks on the podcast and other places are always just like so curious, like, why Mexico? Why Merida? Like, what is this like magical place you seem to be enjoying? And I would love for y'all to also kind of share like what inspired you to make the move to come abroad and be doing this working and living remote thing. Tell us the story of your decision to move to Mexico.
Thank you for asking. And Cherelle's getting us together on our lights. Having an in-home studio, as you probably know, it's a lot. But our
teammate, that's amazing. So much help.
It's a lot. But this move to Mexico, honestly, Cherelle and I, we love travel. Cherelle, she's been traveling like internationally since like she was younger. I started traveling internationally when I was like 25. And like, it's always been just like a really big part, I think, of our wellness, like just as individuals, but also as friends. And so I think we were both exploring the idea of like living somewhere else. We're like, okay, it would be cool, you know, to live in another country. And then the pandemic happened. And then George Floyd was murdered, and like just all of these things were happening. And we were in DC at that point. And like, honestly, we always loved DC. We had been in DC for years, and it just like the walls were coming in on us. And we were like, America just doesn't feel safe for us anymore. We were like, America doesn't feel safe for us anymore. Like, you know, we should try and venture out. So like, I really had my eyes set on Ghana. Cherelle had her eyes set on Spain, on Spain. And we realized like no one was basically bringing in Americans. Everyone was kind of like, you know what?
Yeah.
Where you are. And Mexico was the only place that was allowing people in. So we started doing research, and we were like, okay, at this point, we had never even been to Mexico before. Not even just Merida.
I cannot believe that. It's so interesting.
Started doing research, and we realized, like, you know, for us, like, community is big. So Merida specifically had like a growing Black community. Clearly, it was safe. There had been a lot of like just situations in DC where we were like, this just isn't safe for us. And yeah, we came, and it has just been a learning experience where every day.
Cherelle's parents have come from New Jersey and since confirmed that it is indeed safe, hot and safe. Yeah. I think that's okay. So the power of the internet here, first and foremost, which I just so love. And I love how you are leveraging it and really bringing good into the space, because we also, we had been to Merida, we saw it, we loved it. And then it was through following people who were like sharing about it and mentioning these like growing communities and the culture and all these things that there were to do. Because I think that when when people conceptualize me as a digital nomad, it's like Cancun and Playa del Carmen are these places that are just like very touristy. They have all these inclusive things. Everyone's come down for like a bachelor party at some point, and they think Mexico is either like all inclusive resorts or like a developing third world country. And there's so much in between that. And for me too, it was like search engine optimization of like, you know, trying to really understand what would be some of the best places to relocate, not just travel, not just hang out, but like build a community. Yeah. And, you know, that was something on your radar too, when you were looking for somewhere. You wanted like community and friends and all of that. And I found that through blogs. Shout out to Cassie and Nate, who we still have to get on this show. But, you know, folks like ourselves who are willing to share and give a little bit more of behind the scenes. So take me back to quarantine, DC, you're on your computers, you just like discovered this little place called Mexico, and you're like, let's do it. Was it really like that? Or what was your decision-making process and like fully committing to digital nomading?
Oh my gosh. So it was really like that. We had actually went to New Jersey to my parents' house over the summer, and we were just like, you know, we're over America. We're leaving. And they were like, okay, where are you going? And like, I've always talked about living abroad, but I didn't know where I was going. So I was like, I don't know, we're going to Mexico. And my dad is a retired police officer. So he was like, Mexico, you're going where now? Like, tell me again. So he was like, well, where in Mexico do you think you're going? Just like entertaining my idea. And I Googled like the safest place in Mexico, and it was Merida. So I was like, Merida. I was like, we're going to Merida.
That is so good. Yeah.
Yeah. Literally, we're just like, we're going to Merida. And then it happened. That was over the summer. And then we kind of talked about it a little bit, but just kind of got back into regular life, I think. And then September, it was Labor Day weekend. We texted our landlord, and we were just like, hi, we no longer feel safe in America, and we need to break this lease. So how can we do it? And she worked with us. She said we had to get out we had 2 months to get out. We were able to get out within the month, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Okay, I'm a little bit more of a planner than you all, but also like young at heart, like you appreciate. Yeah, because it was also the pandemic that kind of pushed us to just be like, let's just do it, And when people ask me, why Mexico? Or like, how did you decide? Or why this place? It's like, I've never felt like I had a great answer because there was A, knowing, and B, an experience. Like we first visited in 2018 Merida for like a long weekend, and we just fell in love. We're like, why is no one talking about this place? This is amazing. And then we needed to regroup at the time. So in 2018, Mac and I had been backpacking for like 9 months, and we just needed to stop living in our backpacks. Okay. So we sit down, we're in Merida, we're at flippin' Eladio's, and we have this meeting. 2018. Okay, where are the top 3 places that you want to live? Like, we need to go get a home base. And it was Sacramento, Merida, and Puerto Morelos, which is where we had also lived for like a month. And Merida was like the place. However, there was some family stuff and finances and like American things we had to take care of. So we go back to Sacramento, 2018, and we sat there for a year and a half, dreaming of Merida, like watching all these YouTubers, learning all these things, doing all this research, but we didn't know when, because then the pandemic hit and it was like, we'll wait till the wave. We'll wait. What are we waiting for? And so it was sort of similar once we got to the place where you all were at. We're like, it's F this S o'clock kind of thing. We're just going to do it. And we just said, okay, after the holidays, family, this is what we're doing. And so we came in January. Were you guys here December, January-ish then too?
October. Yeah. We came in October.
Oh, you moved quick after Labor Day. You didn't take your 2 months.
We did not.
All right. So you also were wrapping up careers or like day jobs, right? How did your career and work transition with you? You recently went all in. I know like going all into your own business has happened since being here. So I just want to know a little bit about how that transition happened.
Yeah, sure. So we actually started L.O.V.E Youth back in 2015. And that's when we were like doing our workshops and all the things, but we were presented with an opportunity to start a nonprofit in like the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. And so we started that, and we poured all of our time and resources and energy and effort and all of the things into that. And because we were online, working remotely, it was easy to just transition for the time being while we were figuring out Mexico. So we were like, yeah, we're moving, but also like, we're figuring it out. So like, if it doesn't work, we can come back. But like, hey, we have this flexibility, so let's just do it. Yeah. So we were able to, thank God, we were able to continue to handle what needed to be handled in America in the midst of this new journey.
Yeah. So it's like we're evolving the nonprofit. So I guess I misunderstood that it was new this year, but really it's just like you all committing to it being online and the way you deliver things being feasible to your Mexico lifestyle is like, yeah, the newer commitment.
Yeah. So we walked away. We have fully transitioned away from the nonprofit because I think that just, to kind of take it back to the pandemic, I think, the pandemic, being in a pandemic makes you think about things, right? You're like, what do I enjoy doing? What's important to me? So like, even though, we had started in 2015, like this was our first time being like, let's focus all of our energy on this. Let's do something that just really makes us happy, really sets our souls on fire. And while we were really good at the work that we were doing in the nonprofit, we were like, okay, that's a different chapter in our lives. And it was time to close it. So like this coming to Merida, having this new start, it just being in a new country has also been like, okay, let's start everything anew. I feel like just individually as a collective, it's just been such a restart for so many things.
I feel that too. We were working online, obviously, like the pandemic just made us all work online. And coming down here, it became very obvious that it was time for an evolution in my business because I had been coaching coaches how to start their business. And there was something about the space or the siestas or the mindset or all the things just kind of conspiring that it was being here that finally let me set my ego aside, open up my eyes and start to really think about what's the vision here? Like, what do I actually want to be doing? Are my strengths still aligned? Is my energy still aligned? And, has set us on a very different trajectory, like since being in Mexico. And I think they're very related. And it sounds like you're feeling the same thing.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. There's like a different, relax. See, it's the dog. It's the dog.
They also got a dog. Like they just been like checking things off their vision board. We were talking about this before you guys started recording, that you said you wanted a dog, and then a month later you got your dog. It's all just happening.
I was going to say there's just a different energy here. I definitely feel like because it's more relaxed, it's slower. It's just easier to kind of take the time to really think about what it is that you want and how you can get there and the ways that you can do it. And like, just what you're focusing on.
Everyone here is willing to pitch in with you. Like, it's like here, people will just like open up a sewing shop. Like there's one house in specific that we walked by to go to the dog park. And like when we first came, she was like selling clothes and doing sewing. And then she started selling sandwiches and juices. And now she has like a handbag thing. Like she's just like hustling, right? She's just like putting her storefront out literally. And that's what she's doing. And we find that with folks we meet down here, it's like, oh, like I can help you put on that event, or we can totally make that happen tomorrow. Or I know someone who has that dog that you're looking for. It feels like it's easier to manifest, or that there's more access to receiving. Are you feeling that too?
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like for me, it kind of seems like, I feel like in America and specifically in DC, there's such a, like, you have to look out for yourself, you know, because like everyone's trying so hard to get by. And not to say that's the case, you know, for people here, but I feel like especially coming from a place that's so like work driven and like do and outcome and everything like that, being over here is kind of like, you can be like, these are my skills. And I feel like that's something that I've seen not only just, you know, in the locals, but like also to just expats who move here, where it's like, being here gives you opportunity to be like, how do I use like my talents to actually like offer those out to people? And it makes you kind of sit with that. And I feel like, you know, that's why people are like, okay, I'm good at making sandwiches, but also I am good at the handbags and I am good at sewing. Let me do all of them. And I feel like America is very much so like, you get into this job that you don't even like, stay there forever so you can retire when you're 80, you know, just to die 5 years later. And I feel like here it's like, no, like, let me use what I have because that's what makes the most sense. And so I feel like that's kind of what it is for me. So to answer your
question. Well, this is helping me with my like presentation, because for folks that have never been out of the country, much less Merida, Mexico, the question is very obvious. Like, if you can work from anywhere, why would you go to this place that doesn't speak your language, that gets really hot, they don't know anyone in, you know, why, you know? And I think the things that you're expressing, they're not easy to like make a bullet point pro con list, right? It's about being in an environment that allows you more freedom in your mindset, in your routine. Again, shout out to siestas, in what's possible for you, because we're not living in the same structure or set of expectations or kind of like hustle culture. Even though my day-to-day work, like I still open up the same computer and I still use the same Gmail, right? So do you have a good answer? Like if you had to just explain to someone on a, you know, Didi ride, an Uber ride, whatever ride you're using, like why Merida? Why work from here when you can work from anywhere?
Oh my gosh. I think I would say it's a feeling, like I just feel different here. I feel very safe. Also, I think that safety is super important in any sort of, in whatever you're doing, just in life in general. Not feeling safe can hinder a lot of things, and it can make you just not able to produce and not able to have all of the energy that you have and the talents and all of that. And it kind of stifles things. So I feel like feeling safe for me is just, it's super important. So I feel very safe here.
Almost like okay, so I want to talk about this safety piece for a minute, because I think there are a few elements to that. Like the one is that y'all were listening to helicopters in your DC apartment. Like, is it safe? You know, like wearing masks, like going to like protests, like all that stuff is like a real foundational element of safety. And then there's also this like abundance mindset that to me safety is like the opposite of scarcity. Okay. So like here it's like, you can access a lot of things. Things are cheaper. There's that piece of it as well. And then I also think this like permission to do and be and have whatever the heck you want is another safety, right? Like, oh, who am I to have a pool in my backyard? Like, I don't, like there's those tangible things of safety, which are super real. And then again, back to this like energy and this mindset of what is possible for you in a supportive environment. So safety. Got it. What else? I interrupted your elevator pitch there. I'm sorry.
No worries. No worries. You mentioned just the price. I mean, things are more affordable here for me. And I am very conscious of the fact that it is not the case for locals here in some instances. So I'm very mindful of like how I say that. Things are just more affordable for me in my experience.
The dollar means something different.
Yes. And in DC, I mean, we paid a ridiculous amount of money for rent and like didn't even have all the space that we have now. So, and I mean, had the ADT and the security, and as soon as you get in, you're punching the thing and all of that. So definitely the affordability, and just, I feel like trying something new. Like, I really enjoy newness. I don't like routine. I don't like feeling like I am stuck doing the same thing. So like a traditional like 9-to-5 career was never for me. Like I've never enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like here, just having that, the ability to just do something new and it be so unknown was so exciting. And it's still exciting because every day I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was there. Or, oh, we should go try this. Or, oh, have you ever done this? Let's do it. And so it's like always something new. Yeah. I'll say that. And even like meeting new people, like meeting you and our friends, like it's so new because I had some of the same friends that I had for years. And, you might find one or two extra people to add to the bunch, but it wasn't like I was just meeting new people all of the time. So that has been a growth point for me. But it's also been a beautiful thing as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, I mean, for you starting in classrooms and wanting to rethink how can we learn outside of these traditional confines? I mean, you're embodying that now by learning new cultures and learning new ways of working and all the things that you're learning just by, shifting up your environment, like we talked about. So for folks that are listening, they're like, okay, y'all are cool. This sounds great. I want a pool. Like I could get some space, some headspace back, whatever. You recently posted something on Instagram that I really appreciated and honestly wanted like a year or two ago. And you talked about the things to consider before deciding to be a digital nomad. And I'd love for y'all to kind of unpack that and think about, where you were a year and a half ago. Like, what are some of the things you did right? What are some of the things you would do differently? And what's kind of the pro tips that you have for making your decision about being a digital nomad?
Thank you. That's a good question.
That's a great question.
I feel like, us stepping into this whole like digital nomad life, because it did come about so quick. I know for everyone, like it isn't do what works best for you. So I think that's for me, that's the biggest pro tip. Like, don't necessarily look at anyone else's journey and be like, I have to do it that way, because like you may not be that type of person. So like, if it takes you a year, great, plan for a year. If you can do it in a month, do it in a month, but don't feel like, oh my gosh, I got to do it this way. Cause I feel like you'll end up getting your feelings hurt. But I feel like as we were preparing for it, we were in rapid speed. So it was kind of like, where do we go for us, at least for me in the moment? It was like, where can I go where like safety is a priority, like feeling what those priorities are. And something I think I mentioned to you the other night, like, two significant, I feel like events happened when we were in DC, like a few months before we had moved into like our last apartment there. Like basically there had been a carbon monoxide scare and the fire department had came. Long story short, we had left. They were supposed to close our house up. We came back. Our windows were open, our doors were open. We never moved back into that apartment. We stayed in hotels, and like a lot of people didn't know that. And it was such a scary thing because like the fire department didn't care. And it was kind of like, whatever, y'all will deal. And we're like, we're not safe anymore. And then we had a double homicide in the house beside us. And that shook us, where it was kind of, we were still there, but just knowing that that's happening right next door. So I'm like, safety, that's number one. Affordability, that's number one. And so I'm feeling like, what are those priorities? Like we don't have kids. So for someone else, it might be school. So like really just looking at the pros and cons of like, am I leaving the place that I am to go into a place that's similar just because people say it's popular, just because people say it's fun? Like there's definitely some other places in Mexico that I've been where I'm like, oh, this sounds great. Like we have friends who are in Playa. Playa is great. Like it's definitely it's a younger community, things like that. But for me,
I need a vacation after a vacation in Playa. It's a little rowdy. It's a little rowdy.
So yeah, that's kind of my little two cents on that.
Yeah.
I'm like that. Basically that. I would also add just realizing that, basically that. I'm like, because I'm going to reiterate what you just said. So basically that.
I won't reiterate before you reiterate the iteration.
Okay.
But I think this is like good advice for any big life decision. You know, I've been someone in my 20s who's really followed my heart and then like had my head catch up. Because like we said, like there was a feeling, like I knew it, like we had this experience and then we put it on the vision board and it just kept building this like heart feeling that like I wanted to be there. I wanted to experience it when like the head pro con priority list, like wasn't as easy to like map out. And so I think, you know, what you're saying here, Kamil, is that there's elements of planning and preparing, like how much time is this going to take you? How much money do you need? By the way, you need like 2 to 3 months rent to move down here, like cash in hand kind of thing, like figure out those pieces. But then let your heart fly, because the desires that we have are not random. Like it might sound random, like safest city in Merida or in Mexico. Okay, well, this is what popped up, but y'all were travelers already. You knew what you were looking for. You knew you had a desire for something better, safer, more affordable for yourself. And I mean, that's a law of attraction and SEO bringing you here to Mexico, right? But that balance between like head and heart, right? Was there any tension for you all in making this decision, or backlash, or like anything again that you might have done differently in your decision-making process?
Yeah. I mean, I would say like the backlash, I think for us, we were set on it. I think, and that's one thing I was gonna say, like to people who are thinking about moving abroad, like guard your choice. Be mindful about who you share it with, because sometimes people will project their fear on, onto you, of like what they think is possible or what they think makes sense. And so, as we told some people, even including family, it was kind of like, y'all doing what?
Like that don't make no sense.
That is the stupidest thing I didn't heard. And that's coming from people who they never lived out the country. That's never been a desire, and like people would be trying to tell us about a place they never even have been. And I'm thankful that we were I don't even say like deeply rooted in our choice, but I'm thankful that we were both like, no, this is our decision, because it could have taught us out of it. And you see that in a lot of groups where people are like, oh no, well, I'm planning to come, but my mama said this and my cousin said this, and like they end up staying.
Yeah.
And so
that's great advice. Again, like whether you want to be a digital nomad or you want to start a business or you want to change careers or you want to marry someone you just met. I don't know. It's like, that's really good advice of like standing firm in your decision and knowing that your conviction and your head and your heart are all aligned, because exactly what you just said, Kamil, people will show you their fear when you do scary things.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely. Like you saying everything.
Yeah. All right. So you're a year in. What's the like one of the most unexpected things that you've learned or run into as a digital nomad here?
I will say not having hot water all the time for me. I've taken a lot of cold showers. Like,
not like to be cool and like macho just because you got a shower, not like the cold shower. Fan club. Yeah. Got it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So like that has definitely been the thing that I'm like, and I'm like, be grateful, Cherelle, be grateful, be grateful. Some people don't have water. So like perspective. But that has been the thing that I've been like, ooh, but also I think for me, so I learned Spanish from the 3rd grade until freshman year of college. And then I didn't use it forever. So coming here, it taught me that I knew more than I thought I did. And also that the only way that I'm going to continue to learn is by practicing and speaking and letting people tell me that I am wrong. I am a recovering perfectionist here. And so I don't like being wrong. So it's like uncomfortable, but I'm like, it's fine. That's the only way I'm going to learn. So giving myself lots of grace along the process has been something that I've definitely learned. I expected it, but I guess I didn't expect it in this way. So
yeah, that's Cherelle. What about for you, Kamil?
I would say for me, I think how hard it is to unplug from like the grind culture aspect. I mean, I'm too like Cherelle. I'm always trying to figure out how I can start working sooner rather than later because I don't believe in the concept of having to work my whole life. And, you know, even coming here and not being locked into like a 9 to 5 and having to go to an office because, you know, we've been out of our office since March because of COVID, like, you know, 2020. Yeah. And it still feel that need to be like, I haven't done enough, you know? So I feel like that's a conversation Cherelle and I have often where it's like, you know, it's okay to be able to go get breakfast on a random Wednesday. It's okay to not start your day until 12 o'clock. It's okay not to do 9 hours of work, you know what I mean? And being okay with like not having to produce something all the time. Because I think, you know, coming from America, your worth is attached to what you produce and all of these things. And not to say that's not important here, but it's something that we don't have to be as tightly tied to. So I feel like every day is like a commitment to be like, okay, it's okay. Like even this morning, I'm like 9 o'clock. Okay, we haven't worked out. Like, what are we doing? And it's only 9 o'clock in the morning. So like just learn to just take a step back. So I would say that for me and the hot showers and the Spanish, because I don't really know Spanish. So that's definitely why.
I know. Oh, I'm so like, yes, and yes, all of those things. And thank you for saying that the challenge of like turning off the hustle culture, because as much as we're talking about how it's free and easy and the energy is so great down here, like I do still run a similar business as like, here we are on Zoom, like here I am using my calendar link. Like for me, I found that having some structure and having some routine is really helpful for me. I'm like you though, Cherelle, where it's like, oh, I don't want to have to be told what to do. Or I don't want to feel like I'm like working all day. So I've done a lot of like intention setting around my schedule because I do like feeling I'm productive during the week, right? And not just like, oh, I'm just like down here, like riding the local price on things, but like I'm doing something with my day. I'm still contributing because I think and this is true for me, the first go around with digital nomading, I was like anti-meeting everything. I was just like doing on a whim because I could, right? And that was so attractive. I could do this any time of day. So I'm going to wait till 6 p.m., but then it's on my mind all day long that I'm not doing it. And so one of my biggest tips for digital nomads is to like set yourself up for success and bring some plan, some structure. I know I was talking to Juan Pablo, one of our friends who's been here also for just over a year. He's like, the first year I didn't have a plan. It was glorious until it wasn't, right? Until it's like, you wake up with a different, like, what am I doing with my life feeling? So I think that's really important, right? To like set clear expectations. The weather is hot here. The water is cold. There are bugs. There are like things that happen, like mosquitoes bites are one of mine right there with cold water. Because no place is perfect. And I think if you're thinking about being a digital nomad, to run away from something or think, oh, the grass is greener, or, oh, when I'm there, I'm going to be successful, or when I have a pool in my backyard, I'll be happy, right? Yeah. That's just setting yourself up for disappointment. So thank you for being honest about the cold water. And we should find a Spanish tutor together, because that's one of my embarrassments, I guess. Like I keep saying, I'm going to get better at Spanish, but everyone's so great at Spanglish. Like I keep getting away with it. They're too easy on me with my charades and my bad conjugation. I've been able to get away with too much.
I'm there with you, because I'm definitely like a charades girl for sure. So same.
Yeah. Everything is present tense. Like you'll get it. If I point this way, I mean, we are going. we've almost all applied. I literally said that. Great. Okay. So with what y'all are cooking up now, you're using this space and capacity to rethink like what education can look like, what self-care actually means, what happens in a world when we actually love ourselves and choose to put ourselves in places that we love. And you guys have some great content and resources in lots of places. So let us know where folks who aren't going to move down here and be our neighbors, where they can stay connected with you and learn more about everything that you're up to.
Of course. Thank you for that. So we are L.O.V.E Youth. You can find us online at www.youth The L.O.V.E Youth. That's TheLoveYouth.org. We have a beautiful website that was designed by our friend Nate, who you shouted out earlier, from Native Nomads. And it's immaculate, but it also has lots of ways that you can work with us on there. So we also have an Instagram page. That's L.O.V.E.YOUTH. So we are on Instagram, bringing you all the content, all of the self-love, all the self-care, all the wellness vibes in all of the ways. We have videos, reels, all the things, the Instagram things. And we are also on Patreon. So Patreon is a monthly membership-based platform for creatives like us, where we can garner monetary support for the things that we do. So on Patreon, we have everything from more videos on our life abroad to affirmations, audio affirmations, meditations. We have calls, some like all the things, conversations,
different random things, wellness.
Yes, all things centered around wellness. And that is Patreon. And you can find that on our website, but also on our Instagram, but it's also The L.O.V.E Youth. So patreon.org/The.L.O.V.E Youth. That is
so many good, abundant, valuable things happening in all those places. We'll make sure that we have the links so that listeners and followers can stay connected and continue all the conversations with you all. And I hope to see you, IRL this week or next. How about that?
Yes, that sounds good. Let's make it happen.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. Thanks, listeners, for hanging out with us today. I'll be back with more inspiring guests that will help you make your dream life your real life next week. Until then. And don't forget to hop on over to dreamlifeisreallife.com/show for specific goodies that we talked about today and access to continue the conversation with these guests as well as myself. I cannot wait to see what you create. Until next time.